Wild waves, broken car windows, and planes that wobble on approach all are signs of winds that whipped the Northeast yesterday.
Ahead, learn what will be blowing your way as this last week of 2008 gets underway.
Last week of 2008.
This year has flown by.
Yeah, it's been a bad year in some respects, though, economy-wise.
And weather. There have been some big weather stories and tragedies this year.
All right.
Ike, for one, Hurricane Ike.
Yeah, it is half past the hour. Better enjoy the unseasonable warmth. This is actually a nice stretch that we've had here on the East Coast. But, well, things might change a little bit in time, particularly for the Northeast. 46 for high in New York, 64 in Charleston. That's still very mild. Tallahassee, 69. But if you head farther south in Florida, like to Tampa, Orlando, or Miami, it's going to be the 80s. Green Bay, 32. That's actually balmy for Green Bay this time of the year. 51 in KC, and Dallas, pleasant at 67 degrees. But let's start in the northeast part of the country. I don't think we'll see record heat today, but it's still not bad, Jen.
It's really not. I think we got spoiled yesterday, though. Temperatures in the mid-60s up and down the eastern seaboard. New York City, Atlantic City, Philadelphia, all kinds of records broken across the region. The front has moved through. Now, this is the front that brought very, very gusty winds. Winds gusting to 75 miles an hour in Buffalo, New York. Winds gusting to 50 miles an hour as the front blew through the eastern seaboard. We still have winds gusting to about 25 to 30. It's 28 gusts right now at Provincetown. Windsor Locks coming in at 28 miles an hour. And up here at Montpelier, 23 miles per hour. But the winds of yesterday, those 75-mile-per-hour winds, those are gone. But what a day it was. What a game it was for the Buffalo Bills. The winds were so strong, 75 miles an hour is hurricane force. They were able to bend over goalposts. The crews had to come out a couple times to upright. You know, at one point they were trying to kick a field goal, and the wind was so strong it actually blew the ball in the other direction. I can't imagine how strong this wind was for folks trying to sit in the stands. And I heard reports that some cars out in the parking lots had their windshields blown out. There were some reports of injuries. I know that there was some damage to one of the concession stands, and that's where some of the injuries were reported. You know, today it's going to be much quieter in terms of the winds, but still a little bit gusty out there. Breezy, we'll call it, and that includes New York City. Your temperatures today are going to be about 20 degrees cooler, mid-40s for highs around the New York City area. As we take you out to Hartford and Washington first stop, where you can see temperatures are going to approach 50. In fact, we might be in the low 50s. So it's not bad, but it's just not going to be as warm as yesterday. What about the Hartford area? Well, we're starting at 39. It feels like it's 32, but we're going to be in the mid-40s right throughout the afternoon, and we should stay nice and dry and actually pretty sunny throughout the good part of today in Hartford. So across the Northeast, a dry day, a little system will be moving through overnight tonight, and that's when we could find some snow in New England. What about the Mid-Atlantic and the South, Jeff?
All right, well, we have some rain to talk about here, Jen. Let's go right to it. On the satellite picture, we have drawn the front, which is kind of snaking its way by. The rain's getting a little bit heavier across North Carolina and eastern South Carolina, at least up toward the Florence vicinity. A little low wave of low pressure kind of developed and moving along here. Reports of some heavy rain right around Florence. That is now crossing the border on over into parts of southeast North Carolina. There's some heavier showers there. Might even be a rumble of thunder. Also some heavier showers moving over toward Albemarle Sound, Elizabeth City, and the south side of Norfolk down toward Suffolk and Chesapeake getting a little bit wet. Much lighter precipitation, just a few light showers moving east of Mobile and right on into the Pensacola area and eventually toward Destin and the Emerald Coast. And it's foggy in South Florida. These are mainly inland areas away from the coast, but if you're traveling the Florida Turnpike, maybe you're going over the Tamiami Trail or Alligator Alley, yeah, it's going to be a bit foggy. Use of low beam headlights here. Some visibilities down less than a quarter of a mile, but that should burn off pretty quickly. So let's take a look at a few specific forecasts, and we'll start you off here with the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Starting off in the 30s with clear skies, but you'll end up in the low 60s today with a good deal of sunshine. Not a bad day for Dallas. New Orleans, Louisiana, starting off in the 50s. You'll get up into the 60s as well, and I think you'll have we'll call it partly to mostly sunny skies. There's the fog around the Orlando area, but if you're headed out to the theme parks early, that fog should burn off, and actually it'll be a spectacular afternoon with temperatures getting up again near 80 degrees. Overall, once we get this rain away from the Carolinas, and we think that'll happen during the late morning to early afternoon, things should actually be pretty mild. In fact, if you like warm air, South Florida's the place to be. Jen?
Well, folks across the Midwest actually are not liking their warm air so much. It caused a lot of problems over the weekend when temperatures warmed up. We do have a front coming in. It is going to bring some cooler air with it. In fact, it's going to be pretty cold for the extreme part of North Dakota, Minnesota. But otherwise, there's not going to be a whole lot of snow with it. Some light snow right now in International Falls. There may be a little light snow around Green Bay later on today. But in Wilmington, Illinois, let's take a look at what the problems this warm air caused. This is not too far from Chicago. And you know, we started with an ice storm on Friday morning, and then temperatures shot up to the 50s. We had a ton of snow melt. You know, we had 6 inches plus of snow melting across the northern part of the state, and that all fed into the rivers. Rivers were cresting, and in some cases, water was flowing into homes. Look at this across Wilmington, Illinois. Homes were flooded. Now, rivers are expected to actually crest today, and in some cases, it's about at the moderate flood stage. Your temperatures are still pretty mild. Yesterday, we had a high of 32 around Chicago. Today, we're starting at 34, so temperatures have been going up through the overnight, but you're going to have a whole lot of flip-flopping temperatures over the next couple of days. Today, starting at 34, we'll be in the 40s. This has got to be a recipe for pothole weather around Chicago. Chicago, we've had so much rain this year. In fact, our wettest year on record, and now we've had these ups and downs in the temperatures. Same thing around Detroit. 24 to start this morning, but then we're going to head up again into above freezing. We'll be in the mid to upper 30s right through the afternoon. Jeff?
Wintry weather won't throw off first flights in many key hubs this morning, but the winds might. Ahead, learn who's at greatest risk later today. Then find out if power crews will have to battle the wind as they try to restore power to some of the thousands left in the dark over the weekend.